Okay, so I have here the new OnePlus 5T, the phone, not the drink. Now, in case you're wondering why I'm so late to this, well, it's because OnePlus didn't send me a review unit, so I got this one myself, and it took a few days to be delivered, so that's why. Okay, so what's the OnePlus 5T? Well, this is a pretty interesting phone, because it comes with flagship specs, so essentially the same processor as the Samsung Galaxy S8 and the Note 8, the US models, so the Snapdragon 835, but then it even comes with more gigabytes of RAM than those phones, so up to 8 gigabytes of RAM on this thing versus 4 gigabytes and 6 gigabytes on the Note 8. And then instead of costing £1,000 or $1,000 like, some other phones, this one actually starts from £450 or $500. So it seems like a pretty good deal. So there you go. It might be a pretty good deal. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. But this is my unboxing and my actual initial review of the OnePlus 5T, the closest phone to the Google Pixel 2 XL actually. Okay, so taking a look at the box first, this is quite a large box. So it's much larger than the iPhone X one or the iPhone 8 Plus one, and even larger than the Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus one, which comes with an even larger form factor. So yeah, this is not a really efficient box, but who knows, maybe it comes with a ton of stuff inside. Now on the front we have a OnePlus 5 logo, and interesting enough, not a 5T logo, just a 5 logo. Then we have OnePlus branding on the top. Nothing on the bottom, and then on the sides we get OnePlus 5T. So yeah, this is how you know that this is a 5T and not a 5. And then finally on the back we get this really nice red back, along with the model number, the color, and then the capacity. So overall from the outside, this is one of the most beautiful smartphone boxes that I've seen, right on par with Apple's and Samsung's. So let me just cut the seal and remove the plastic wrap. And now let me just lift up the top. And there it is, the OnePlus 5T. So interesting enough, as you can see, it's actually sitting on top of this entire block. So I'm really curious to see what's inside. I think I have an idea, and it starts with a C. Now, inside the actual box, we get, the first thing that we get is the charging cable, which is actually my favorite cable design. Hashtag not sponsored. It's USB-A to USB-C, but then it's white and red in order to match OnePlus's color scheme. Okay, so apart from this really nice looking cable, we also get the dash power adapter, which is essentially the fastest quick charging on a smartphone right now. And that's pretty much it. We don't get headphones, we don't get any special adapters. So yeah, this is everything included inside the box. Now going back to the OnePlus 5T, let me just remove this from the plastic tray. And wow, this thing is quite thin, by the way. So I'm just gonna put it to the side for just 1 second. I'm gonna come back to it. And let's see what we get inside this actual plastic tray. So this is actually a box, a small box. So let's take a look and see what we get inside. And we get quite a few things. The first one is this quick start guide, which basically tells you all about the button positioning, so the alert slider, the dual SIM slot, and then we get the safety and the warranty guide. Nothing too interesting here. And then we also get some OnePlus stickers. Interesting. Now going back to that tiny plastic tray box, we also get the SIM eject tool, which seems to have this smiling face on it. I don't know, it was probably cheaper to, just cut the SIM tray rather than filling it out with material. So yeah, they decided to make this face instead. And then finally, we also get a case. So it's pretty nice that OnePlus includes this inside the box. Now, unfortunately, by the way, this is nowhere near the price of some entry-level headphones that we've seen. So yeah, this is just a silicone case, it's very thin, and I'm not sure how much protection this is going to provide. But hey, at least you don't have to worry about finding a new case to buy straight away. Okay, now taking a look at the actual phone itself, I'm just going to remove the plastic wrap on the back so you can listen to the music. And interesting enough, it also comes with a screen protector already installed. Now, this is not a glass screen protector, so it's just the standard plastic foil, but it's good to see that you do have this option to keep it here if you wish. Okay, so now I'm just going to boot it up for the first time, set it up, and give you my first impressions. Okay, so initially I wanted to give you my first impressions after a few minutes of use. But then I wanted to use this for a bit longer, so now I've been using the OnePlus 5T for the past 3 days now, and here's my actual initial review of the OnePlus 5T. Okay, so in terms of how it feels in the hand, it's actually very, very slippery. So I haven't used a phone that was this slippery, so you definitely need a case on this one ASAP. Now, luckily, the one that comes inside the box isn't that bad, so you can use that to start with. Now, design-wise, it's actually a pretty nice looking device. So you get this minimalistic look. It feels incredibly thin in the hand, by how the edges are curved. And then on the back we have this midnight black finish. It's essentially matte black. It looks nice. I would have preferred something a bit lighter, as this one looks like charcoal black, so it's really, really dark, but that's of course personal preference. So overall, design-wise, it feels premium. It's very thin and also very light when compared to phones such as the Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus or the iPhone X. So far, so good. But the biggest change to the 5T is actually the display. So it's now a 6-inch display, and it's also an 18:9 aspect ratio display. And some reviewers kept mentioning that it's finally AMOLED, but it was an AMOLED ever since the OnePlus 3. Or even the OnePlus X, if you remember that. That was the first OnePlus phone with an AMOLED display. But something that is new is the resolution. So it's now a 2160 by 1080p display. So quite an interesting resolution. This actually translates to 402 ppi, so 1 ppi higher than the OnePlus 5. But even though it's not a Quad HD display, just Full HD Plus, it actually still looks pretty sharp, so you won't be having any issues with seeing pixels at all on this thing, unless, of course, you're interested in VR. But overall, the display is actually very, very good. So I was surprised by the quality of this display. So being an AMOLED display, it was actually made by Samsung, which means that it's very, very close in performance to the Samsung Galaxy S8 display or the Note 8 display. And I have to say, when putting them side by side to an S8 Plus, they look almost identical. Now, the S8 Plus display is a bit more vibrant, but the difference here is quite minimal. Now, in terms of the specs, you get the Snapdragon 835, along with either 6GB of RAM or 8GB of RAM, depending on which storage model you choose, so 64 or 128GB. Mine's actually the 8GB of RAM, 128GB of storage model, and performance-wise, wow. So OnePlus has an almost stock-like experience. You get just one community app, the OnePlus community app, and that's pretty much it. So zero bloatware apart from that. And what's really cool is that you get a lot of customizability. So from rearranging the navigation buttons to changing the entire UI to dark mode if you wish, yes, you can do that. And you can even change the accents on the theme. So you can, change the colors on the actual theme, and you can even create gestures on the lock screen and so much more. Now, I've replaced the OnePlus launcher with, of course, Nova Prime and made it look like a Pixel 2. But yeah, considering the performance, this thing is crazy fast and fluid. I've encountered like zero lag so far. This is essentially the closest thing to Google's Pixel 2. I'm talking about the Pixel 2 XL, obviously. And then the camera's a bit weird. So you have a second module just like on the 5, but now instead of it being a zoom or a telephoto module, it's designed for better low light performance, but it almost never works. So I'll cover that more in depth in my full review, but long story short, the second lens is pretty much useless. So you can do portrait mode, but OnePlus essentially just added it for the sake of saying, oh well, we have a dual camera module as well. So no optical zoom, no wide angle lens, and the nighttime shots look as bad as before, maybe a tiny bit better, but yeah, second module is pretty much useless. Now, speaking of weird things, the vibration motor inside this phone feels a bit awkward. So it feels like a loose spring. I would say that after using the iPhone X's Taptic engine or even the vibration motor inside the S8, which is pretty good by itself, this one inside a 5T is significantly worse. Okay, so in the end, this was obviously not my full review. Hit the like button if you guys want to see it, and I'll do an in-depth Zone of Tech review for the 5T. But overall, it's actually pretty good. So you essentially get the best specs on an Android phone right now. And then the camera is decent. It's not amazing. It's about a 7.8 out of 10. So it's good. It's not amazing. The Note 8 One, I would give it a 9.4 out of 10. So yeah, this is about a 7.8 out of 10. Now you also have, you don't have actually wireless charging, you don't have water resistance, and you don't even have headphones inside the box or any cool, adapters, USB-C adapters, and so on. And then the customer support isn't that great. But hey, it's 300 pounds cheaper than the competition. So if you don't care about all of those things, I think you'll be pretty happy with the OnePlus 5T. So read subscribe if you want to see my in-depth review of the 5T. Also let me know in the comments if you want me to do that. And then also don't forget to enable notifications by tapping on that bell icon so that you get notified as soon as a new cool in-depth tech video comes out. Also, let me know in the comments, what do you guys think about the OnePlus 5T? Do you think it's worth it? Do you think it's not worth it? Keep in mind that you can also buy a Samsung Galaxy S8, which is now much cheaper than when it launched, and it's about the same price as a OnePlus 5T. By the way, it comes with a smaller display, but you get a Quad HD display, you get water resistance, you get wireless charging, you get, TouchWiz, which pretty much kills all the features, but then you can, install a custom ROM if you're into that, and obviously get much better performance. You can even install stock Android on it if you know what you're doing. So you have that option as well. Just saying. So yeah, let me know in the comments what you guys think about all this, and this has been pretty much it. So thank you for watching, I'm Daniel, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Zen of Tech, signing out. Cheers.